Welcome back to my channel, everyone. If you're watching this video, I'm going to assume it's because you are not getting the results you're looking for in your bicep training. So today I'm going to break down some of the biggest mistakes I see with training biceps that could be holding you back from getting the massive arms that you want. Alright, mistake number one that's holding back your biceps is that you aren't varying your forearm and hand position during your curls. Due to the biceps being a supinator of the forearm as well as a flexor of the elbow, using both pronated and supinated hand positions during your curls will help to alter the activation of the different muscles of the upper arm, primarily the biceps, the brachialis, which is a large and powerful elbow flexor that lies underneath the biceps, and the brachioradialis muscles. Since the biceps contribute to supination, or that palm up position, while the brachialis does not, curling with the hands in a supine position will increase the biomechanical advantage of the biceps muscles, helping to better target the biceps during the curl and forcing them to do most of the work. Conversely, when curling with a pronated grip, the biceps are at a biomechanical disadvantage, leading to the brachialis and brachioradialis muscles contributing more. When trying to build up the size of your biceps and get that massive arm look, training the brachialis muscle can really blow up the size of your arms since it lies just underneath the biceps brachii, and so getting that muscle bigger will push the biceps up, dramatically increasing the overall size of your arms. Mistake number two that you're making is not varying your shoulder position. Since the biceps have a long head that crosses the shoulder, doing exercises that begin the curl from behind your body will get a better stretch on that long head of the bicep and increase activation of that head of the muscle through the entire range of motion. These are great exercises for developing the peak of the bicep, which is formed by that biceps long head that's being targeted during these types of curls. On the other side of things, preacher curls, which are done with the shoulder in a flexed position, have been shown to get less bicep activation throughout the entire range of motion than standing or inclined curls, and therefore should maybe be a less used part of bicep training, although I would still personally try to work them into your training at least occasionally to add variety to the stimulus that you're applying to the biceps. Next up, mistake number three is relying too much on dumbbells. Dumbbells are fantastic and have a ton of uses, but barbells allow for heavier lifting because of something known as bilateral facilitation. Bilateral facilitation is a phenomenon where both sides contracting together allows for heavier lifting than the sum of the two sides if they were contracting on their own. For example, I might perform a set of 10 of curls with a 100-pound easy bar, whereas if I were to be using dumbbells for a set of 10 each arm, I might only be able to curl 40s or 45s, not the 50s that you'd expect if I can do 100 pounds with the easy bar. And it's because of this increased loading capacity that using barbells and easy bars will help to speed up your arm growth compared to only doing dumbbell variations of curls. Mistake number four is going to be trying to do too much weight all the time. The desire to make progress can lead to doing weight on your sets that's maybe a little bit heavier than it should be. If your curls are cutting off the range of motion at the bottom of the rep or using momentum to swing the weight up to the top, consider dropping the amount of weight you're doing and focusing on locking in your form. It doesn't have to be so strict that it's robotic, but it should be strict enough where you're lifting the weight through a full range of motion with your biceps as the actual thing that's causing the weight to move. And the final mistake we'll be talking about today, mistake number five, is focusing too much on getting the weight up and not focusing enough on getting the weight back down. Every exercise has two main components, those being the concentric contraction, where the weight is being lifted, and the eccentric contraction, where the weight is being lowered back down through an active lengthening of the muscle. People can have a tendency to overemphasize just getting the weight up while underemphasizing the importance of controlling the weight back down, leading to sets that look a little bit like this one, where the weight is just dropping back down after the first half of the rep. And the issue with doing this is that eccentric loading generates a significant amount of mechanical tension on the muscle, which has been found to be one of the leading causes of hypertrophy. And while the research has been a bit mixed on if eccentrics are actually better for muscle growth than concentrics, you can look at it as simply as this. When you're controlling the lowering of the weight as well as the lifting of the weight, you're working the muscle for twice as long as you would if you were only focused on the lifting, which will naturally be better for muscle growth. Okay, now we did just cover a lot, so let's take a look at how we can apply this to our own training without spending a full week just doing curls. For recap, the 5 biggest mistakes you're making when training biceps are not varying your forearm and hand position, not varying your shoulder position, relying too much on dumbbells over barbells and easy bars, lifting too heavy for proper form, and ignoring the eccentric contraction. So to incorporate this into my own training, I like to spend different days focusing on different things. So if I work biceps twice in a week, I might spend the first day doing exercises that vary forearm and hand position, focusing on hitting exercises that vary my grip between a pronated, a neutral, and a supine grip, while keeping my shoulders in about that same position right at my sides. Then on the second day of training, I'll stick with a traditional supine grip on my curls and focus on hitting a couple different shoulder positions during the curl, such as standing curls, incline curls, or occasionally I might do preacher curls. Using some kind of bar variation over dumbbell variations is my preference for most curl exercises, while utilizing dumbbells or cables still on some forms of curls where you literally can't use barbells. Other than that, focus on utilizing good form and controlling the eccentric on every curl variation that you do. Also make sure to use a proper training volume for the biceps and don't overtrain them in an attempt to get them to grow, since that'll just set you back even further. This will be very individual and will depend on factors like training status, lifting frequency, and more. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. Hope you all learned something. Don't miss out on all the other content I'm putting out. It's going to keep getting better, so make sure to click that subscribe button. Comment down below. Let me know how you're going to use this information in your own training, and then go check out my newly finished push-pull leg series. I'll link that at the end of the video. So until next time, I will see ya.